My name is Julia. I have lived through domestic violence that lasted over 8 years. I grew up in a Christian home and I never witnessed domestic violence in my home. And I didn't know that problem even existed. When I got married, I also married a Christian. I thought I married a man of my dreams. He had the family values that I always dreamed of. He had a certain level of spirituality that was very appealing to me. About 3 months later, he really started showing his real side. He started controlling me and manipulating. He would isolate me through cutting down my friends and my contact with my family. He would never openly say, "You're not allowed to see so-and-so," but he would manipulate in such a way that I would always listen to him. He would say, "I don't want you spending time with them because they're not being very good influence on you, or they don't deserve you because you're so kind and you're so good, and they just don't have good interest at their heart when they spend time with you." And me being a good and a humble wife, I always tried to pay attention to what he was saying and not go against it. The first time he hit me, it was because I didn't make the bed correctly. When I questioned him why it had to be done in a particular way, he slapped me really hard across my face, making me fall to the ground. And that was the start of it. I would get beaten so hard that I would have concussions, and the concussions were so bad that I couldn't go to sleep. I remember I would spend my nights sleeping in the rocking chair, sitting out because I couldn't lay my head down. He would often put me outside, completely naked, out the front door. There was a lot of psychological abuse. He would say, "I'm not hitting you. I'm just trying to teach you a lesson." He would put me in a corner and punish me like a little child in front of my kids. He would go to bed and take the kids with him and put me in the same room, standing in the corner while they're going to sleep, saying, "I'm not allowed to even sit down or bend my knees. I just have to stay the whole night and think about my actions and why I'm destroying the family and doing things that ruin the peace in our home." On one particular day, I remember the kids were playing in the backyard. I was outside with them, and he didn't like something that I said. So he made the kids go upstairs, and he told me to stay in the garage. And then he took a huge 2x4 and he started beating me with it. Obviously, I could not scream. I had to be quiet because I didn't want my kids to be more traumatized. Any bruises, I would have to cover them up so they would see no evidence of it. He would often hit me so hard with his fist that actually at one point, 2 of my fingers on my hands got broken because I was just protecting my face. At that point, I was okay with having bruises all over my body. It was something I knew I had to deal with. But I tried to protect my face because I didn't want my kids to see me that way. So I would often cover up my face like this. And he would hit me with such a force that 2 of my fingers, they completely broke just from covering my face and the force going against him. My nose is also broken. My rib is broken. I have scars on my face. And if you ask me, why did I stay so long? And I often get asked that question. And the answer may be so stupid, but so simple. It was because I didn't know that it was abuse. I simply did not know what abuse was. I didn't know what domestic violence was. I thought it was just a hot-tempered person. I thought many families go through that, even though I never witnessed it as a child. I thought as a wife and a good wife, I had to endure it. I tried to leave many times, and I've been to many shelters, but I always ended up coming back. The last time I left, I was so tired of the abuse. I was so tired of living in fear that at that point it didn't really matter to me whether I was going to live in fear with him or whether I was going to live in fear but living a free life. Either way, I had to deal with it. I remember we took our kids to school, and after we dropped them off at the school roundabout, I started opening the door to leave. He held my hand very firmly and said, you can't leave. I can't have you leave. I told him that if he's not going to let me go, I will scream. At that time, there were a lot of parents outside, and there was a police on site also. So he knew of the danger that was coming his way. So he came out of the car. He said, "Okay, take the car." He said, "I will walk home." And I sat in the front seat, and with my youngest daughter in the car seat, we kind of sped off and went home to get our stuff, and then just fled. Just ran off and stayed in the hotel for a while until we figured out our next steps. After some time, I started getting my life on track. I started working, I went back to college, the kids were in school, everything seemed fine, but because there were trauma issues that I didn't deal with, they kept coming up to the surface, and it spun out of control, and I started getting into full-on deep depression. And I didn't know how to cope with it. At that point, I didn't even know it was depression. I just felt sad. And so my way was, I started smoking, drinking wine, and then it turned into hard liquor, and it got into weed. Weed wasn't helping much, so I started, getting prescribed antidepressants. I realized none of it was helping me. It could help me cope for a while, but I felt very empty. At that time, my sister from Russia, she reached out to me and said there was a pastor that was coming to Bellevue, and he's opening a church, and she thought it would be good for me to go visit him. I went to the church. I didn't know anyone at that time, but I was so desperate for help. I was so desperate for answer that I told God, I said, I'm coming to church, here I am. And if you're a loving God and you're a loving Father, as they say you are, then you will heal me from the inside out. I told God that I was going to make a deal with him, that I was going to come every single Sunday service, and I was going to keep my heart open and my ears open towards hearing him. But I wasn't going to take any steps to change my life. And I just wanted to see him work inside of me. I wanted to see him change me from inside out. I wanted to see if he's that loving Father that I've heard of him, but I've never seen it in my life. And I will tell you that once I started going to church, God definitely kept his word. It was amazing that at every sermon, every word that was spoken through our pastor, it did complete healing of the trauma that I had. It healed me from the panic attacks that I suffered. It healed me from PTSD that I had, and my PTSD was pretty severe. Any loud knock on the door could make me fall weak to my knees. Any certain ringtone could make me lose it, So yeah, God was definitely amazing in doing his work in me and completely healing me from the trauma that I had. Shortly after attending our church, I realized that we were planning to open a women's shelter called the Restoration City Haven for women and children who are fleeing domestic violence. And obviously I knew I was going to be involved in it in one way or another, because the issue of domestic violence is definitely very close to my heart. I'm very happy now because I get to be part of an amazing team, amazing ministry where we serve women and children who are fleeing domestic violence. You see, Restoration City Haven is not just a regular shelter where a woman doesn't have to just stay there and wait out her scary times. But the gem of Restoration City Haven is that it has a program that it's run by. And the program is designed to help the women deal with the trauma that they faced. It helped them heal and restore. And the same program applies to their children. Many times I have wished that there was a place like this. And when I was going through abuse, I had wished that there was a place where I could go, where I could fully devote my time to getting healed and restored. And I'm sure, if there was a place like this, my healing would be much quicker. We offer a warm home, we offer food, we offer a program, a place for children to play, and there's playrooms available for the kids to entertain. We have volunteers who come out and have a design program for the children. We have psychologists who come out and spend one-on-one time with our women. We have seminars daily where women can deal with the issues maybe such as unforgiveness or hate that they might have towards their abuser. How to love yourself, how to respect yourself, how to be a good mom. It's very simple questions that, all the women really have to deal with. So please don't put up with domestic violence. Domestic violence is not a private family matter. It's a reason why it's called a crime. So please come. We are waiting to serve you and your children at Restoration City Haven.